course in the world can match Augusta National for beauty. Its flowers, adding to the majesty surrounding the first of the year's golfing majors. The atmosphere, the occasion is unique, as is a traditional warm-up competition on the delightful par 3 course. It's fun for the gallery and the competitors, particularly when, like England's Nick Faldo, your playing companion is one of America's favorite sons, Arnold Palmer. And it is another longtime favorite, Lee Trevino, who grabs the headlines when the 53rd Masters gets underway. Lee's enjoying himself in the sunshine, and why not? Coming to the par 4 ninth, he's already 3 under par after birdies at the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th holes. This for a 4th. "49-year-old Trevino does little wrong on Augusta's magnificent fairways and immaculate greens. And at the short 16th, he uses the slope brilliantly to set up yet another birdie. His 5 under par 67 will lead at the end of a difficult first day.
I think the first hole is a very important hole to get off to a reasonable start, and I think a lot of people underestimate that hole. There's a lot of 5s in that hole, because if you go wind against you, you know, it's probably a 5 iron for your second shot. So many times you can take 5 in that hole, and it's important, I think, to get a good start.
Yet when he tees off, the Scotsman, struggling to find the form that earned him that coveted green jacket, is a victim of that same par 4 opening hole. In blustery winds that make it difficult for all the later starters, he takes a 5. While Lyle might be unhappy, another Briton, Nick Faldo, is very much in the mood. Armed with a new putter, he confidently strides to a 4 under par 68 and second place on the leaderboard. 2 former champions show up well on the opening day. Inevitably, you might say, Seve Ballesteros, winner in 1980 and 83. The Spaniard loves Augusta, and with an opening 71 is one of just 10 who will break par. Another is 84 champion Ben Crenshaw. So many players are in top form, there seems more potential winners than usual. Take United States Open champion Curtis Strange, for instance. He came close here 4 years ago, but he opens with a 74, as does another who hopes that one day destiny will favor him, Greg Norman from Australia.
A tricky one here up the slope. Brilliant!
Yes, but he makes too many mistakes on the first day for his liking, as does Mark Calcavecchia, who lost in 1988 to a last green birdie conjured magically by Lyle out of this very same bunker.
Looking good. Oh, it's a fine shot by Mark.
Like Lyle's a year ago, a brilliant shot, but for Calcavecchia, a 74. And what of Sandy Lyle? Well, by the time he reaches the last, he has this for a 77.
Got it. It's a birdie finish then for the defending champion. Some consolation for an otherwise indifferent round. But it's a 77, and he's 10 strokes adrift of leader Lee Trevino. Trevino leads by 1 from Englishman Faldo, 2 from Scott Hoke, 3 from Don Pooley and Andy Bean, with 5 others a stroke back.
Day 2 dawns chilly and windy. Former champion from West Germany, Bernhard Langer, is blown to a 75, though he'll lose little ground on the leaders. For Sandy Lyle, the strain of his title defense proves too much. He stumbles round in 76 for 153. He'll miss out embarrassingly on the weekend action, but not so this man. 6 times Masters champion Jack Nicklaus remains a supreme competitor. He not only makes the halfway cut with ease, but the 49-year-old is close enough to the leaders to be in contention.
After that marvelous approach, an obvious birdie chance. 2-round total of 147. Just 3 over, and Big Jack is going well.
Meanwhile, 2 times Masters champion Tom Watson is faring even better. Watson will end the day 1 over par 145, happy to have handled the course and the conditions so well. Delighted, too, with his form in the wind is Seve Ballesteros. 4 off the lead overnight, Seve is only 1 behind as he reaches the par 5 13th. But his charge is halted abruptly when he 4-putts the 15th. He knows his 72 could have and should have been better. For the first round leaders off last, the gusting wind makes ball control difficult, and club selection something of a lottery. In calm conditions, Augusta National demands perfection. In the wind, it provides an even stiffer examination for the greatest golfers in the world. Tom Kite, runner-up twice, and 10 times a top 10 finisher, battles to a second 72 as he chases an elusive first major. Crenshaw matches par on the second day, but it could have been so much better. No, Ben, I don't know why it didn't turn either. But to emphasize what a tough scoring day it is, only 1 man breaks 70.
Ken Green now for a 68. Too bad. So it's a 69. 3 under for the day and 1 under for the tournament. A great round in today's conditions by the 30-year-old Green.
Also finishing 2 rounds at 1 under, Mike Reed. On 2 previous Augusta visits, he missed the cut. Clearly, he was not playing shots like this. Of the others, only Mark O'Meara, Lanny Watkins, and Curtis Strange break par on a day which tests shot-making ability and temperament. Trevino, although not in his devastating form of yesterday, he has not lost his putting touch.
He's had 4 bogeys and just 1 birdie today. And that makes 2. Trevino back to 3 under.
And that is how he finishes after a 74. Playing companion Nick Faldo maintains his challenge, even if the capriciousness of the wind fools him at the short 16th.
Oh, no. Faldo's completely misjudged that one. He didn't figure the wind correctly.
Sorry, Nick. That's Augusta. But he's round in 73, and at halfway, he shares the lead with Trevino on a board that shows only 8 players at par or better. The wind has taken its toll, and the Saturday forecast looks even more ominous. That forecast is for heavy rain. Masters patrons, though, are unconcerned. Nothing will drag them away from the action, especially when Australian Greg Norman's in full flow. The Queenslander, 8 shots off the overnight pace, quickly and systematically narrows the gap. His approach play is immaculate, and his putting razor sharp. Noted for last round charges, Norman is on a roll a day early, and after just 7 holes, he closes to within 5 strokes. In contrast, Faldo has slipped back. He double bogeyed the first. Now at the second, a par 5. He's in 3-putt range, facing the prospect of a second consecutive 6.
This putt, all of 100 feet across the width of the second green. Could it be? Could it be? It's in! Unbelievable! I think it went through 2 time zones. Certainly the longest putt ever hauled in a Masters. A putt to remember indeed, and it puts Faldo at 2 under.
But at the turn, he'll be back to 1 under. Better, though, than his overnight co-leader, Trevino. Lee is always struggling in today's troublesome wind. Despite hitting the stick, Trevino is firmly locked in reverse. His dream of winning the title is fast disappearing. It is just one disappointment after another for the now subdued Trevino. In contrast, The Texan, Ben Crenshaw, is moving forward. That perfectly judged putt puts him 3 under par to tie the lead. And well used to windy conditions in his native state, Crenshaw continues to impress.
Ben's second shot on the par 4 7th. And definitely in birdie position here. He birdied 2 and 4, and he's currently 3 under par. These are hardly ideal conditions for the spectators, to say nothing of the players. Looks pretty good. He's got it. Birdie to go 4 under and into the lead. And I don't want to cast an ominous note here, but I heard the distant roll of thunder just then as he put that ball in the cup. Now, playing with Crenshaw, Ballesteros. He's had a mixed round so far, 2 bogeys and 2 birdies. 4 par. Oh, no, that was not a good putt. Another bogey, and things are not going right for Seve at the moment.
But the weatherman has got it right. Lightning forces officials to halt play, and then the heavens open. Play is held up for over 90 minutes, and it is still raining when the action restarts.
Norman now, second shot on the par 4 18th. Greg has probably escaped the worst of the conditions since he'd almost completed his round before the stoppage. That's on the green, not bad. He's got a chance here. Well, improvisation seems to be the word here today. Anything to keep one dry. Little consolation to the golfers who have to play without benefit of any cover. All right, currently 4 under for the round, 1 over for the tournament. Chance here for a 67 to bring him even for the tournament. Not to be. Still, a 68 leaves him at 217, just 1 over, and definitely Greg Norman a real threat. Back on the 14th tee, our leader, Ben Crenshaw. Well, it looks like his hand might have come off the grip there, and the ball winds up on the right side of the fairway. It's suddenly gone very dark, and ahead at the green, it looks as if Hoke and Tom Kite are calling it a day. Well, it had to happen. Conditions are quite impossible now.
For the unlucky 14 still on the course, it's a welcome relief from the elements. Overnight, that's the situation. For coincidence followers, the last time the third round concluded on a Sunday in 1984, Ben Crenshaw won. Strolling down to resume his round, that must surely be on his mind. It looks a perfect morning for birdies, but not just for him.
Scott Hoke picking up where he left off last night with a real birdie chance here at the 14th. Yes. And conditions certainly are far different from the rain and gloom of last night. Hoke then goes to 1 under, 3 behind Crenshaw, back on the fairway. Second shot for Ben. He's 4 under, remember. Good looking shot. Oh, fine shot, right up on the green. From just a few yards further ahead, Ballesteros. Currently 3 over after his adventures around Amen Corner last night. Seve's second shot at 14. Oh, yes, and he says, take that, Ben. Very special day for Seve, his 31st birthday today.
Ahead at the 15th, Scott Hoke, 26th on the money list last year, is riding high. This is another birdie chance. Yes, and Hoke, who has only 3 tournament victories to his credit in a 10-year pro career, finds himself just 2 shots adrift of the lead.
Back on 14, Seve for birdie. And he certainly knows these greens well. He's got it. He goes 2 over, but still 6 strokes back of our leader, Ben Crenshaw, on this his birthday day. Now to go 5 under, Ben. absolutely benign conditions. They couldn't be any better. Oh, that's a missed opportunity for Ben. But he's still 4 under, although disappointing to him.
It is to be a disappointing morning for Crenshaw as his nearest rivals close in. Like Hoke, Mike Reed gains 2 strokes. Ballesteros, of course, has even grander ideas. He birdies 15, attacks the flagstick at 17. And yes, another birdie. In the space of just 40 minutes, he has recovered the shots he dropped last night back to level par. Crenshaw, though, is curiously lethargic.
Ben's missed a couple of real birdie opportunities here today. He's been in trouble. The final hole. This for bogey 5. He's got it.
3 under, then, for Crenshaw. Not the cushion he had hoped for, perhaps. Even so, he remains on top of the list. But with 18 holes to go, only 6 shots cover the top 10. Even Nick Faldo, who dropped 2 strokes this morning, is still in the title race. So who will don the jacket tonight? Faldo starts the final round with yet another putter, and it works superbly. The birdies come fast and furious. He grabs 4 in the first 7 holes to reestablish his title claim. Out in 32, he is 2 under par through 9. Ballesteros is in deadly form, too. Around the greens and on them. He covers the first 9 in 31 to share the lead at 5 under par. And Ben Crenshaw, the morning disappointment behind him, rediscovers his magic putting touch. Just the encouragement he needed at just the right time. At the turn, he will be 4 under. On earlier 1989 form, few rated Scott Hoke's chances at Augusta. But if he can maintain his concentration under pressure, maybe the title will be his. Through 9, he is 5 under, co-leader with Ballesteros, and another dark horse, Mike Reed, who coolly and calmly keeps his Augusta dream alive. But don't forget Greg Norman. After his 1987 experience, he has a score to settle with Augusta. And he's set for a low-scoring final 9. Through 12, Norman is 1 under. Ballesteros and Faldo have dropped a shot apiece, but only 4 strokes separate the top 6.
On the par 5, 13th, a 3-wood by Nick Faldo, his second shot, and it's on the green with a great opportunity here for an eagle. And look at this. What a shot. And so the stage is set for a thrilling climax to this 53rd Masters tournament.
But before we join the closing stages, a final 1989 look at one of the greatest champions ever to grace Augusta National's historic tournament. The Golden Bear on his way to a 3 over par total of 291.
The incredible Jack Nicklaus. Now back to the 13th with Faldo. Don't forget, this is for an eagle. If he makes it, he'd go back to 3 under. Roughly 12 feet. Just a little bit short and wide. Should be a birdie, though. For 2 under for Faldo. At the short 12th, joint leader Mike Reed. He's 5 under. Tricky shot here. Chipping from just off the green. Co-leader with Hoke. Could it be? Got it! A miracle shot by Mike Reed. It puts him at 6 under, and he goes into the lead on his own for the first time in the tournament. Faldo, second shot. 14th hole. 2 under, 4 strokes back of Reed. Oh, a fine shot and another opportunity for a birdie for Nick Faldo. As we move back to the 13th, Greg Norman, a long putt for a birdie 4 to go 2 under. And he makes it. Greg Norman has that glint in his eye. Now Faldo to go 3 under at 14.
Three under. The Masters pot is beginning to boil. Amen Corner takes few prisoners. Hoke remains 5 under. Ballesteros sticks at 4 under. Of the leaders, only Crenshaw slips. Back to 3 under, tied with Faldo.
Nick Faldo now on the short 16th, 170 yards, using a 4-iron. Remember, Reed is still out in front at 6 under. And just off the putting surface, about 15 feet above the hole. And it's beginning to rain quite hard now. Perhaps not as hard as yesterday, but very steady and very soggy. Now Reed at the 13th. Birdie attempt. It's straight a bit. But he'll have this for a safe par. Now Faldo at the 16th for birdie. His putting has been absolutely phenomenal. Watch the break here. Look at this. And Nick Faldo continues to astound us. That for 4 under. Nick with the best record in the majors a year ago. 2nd in the U.S. Open, 3rd in the British Open, and 4th in the PGA. Now at the 15th, Norman in sand, having missed the green on the right. His 3rd shot on this par 5. So he has a chance for a birdie here at the 15th hole. Now, to go 3 under. His 5th birdie of the day, and the field is bunching up on leader Mike Reed. Could this be Norman's year? Now Mike Reed, he got his par at 13, 2nd shot at 14. Flagstick tucked to the left. It's off to the right a bit. That could be a tough par from there. A couple of swales to go over, and the ball continues to move farther from his goal. Still rolling. Still rolling. In the meantime, we move to the 16th and Greg Norman's tee shot. Looks like a higher lofted club than Faldo used. He had a 4-iron. Oh, the Australian is really pumped up. Oh, look at the backspin on it. Oh, it goes back. It must be a good 35 feet from the hole. A difficult putt, but even more difficult for Mike Reed. Speed is everything here. It's a veritable roller coaster from where he is to the hole. Oh, that's a fine effort by Mike Reed. He's just about 4 feet short of the hole. So this will be for his par 4 to remain 6 under and still the outright leader in the tournament. Oh, he hit it too hard. So that'll be a bogey for Mike Reed, putting him at 5 under, tied for the lead with Scott Hoke. And the question is Mike's confidence a bit shaken with that putt? Now, Norman, outside chance of birdie 2 to go 4 under. This putt, uphill, wet green, as you can see, still raining hard. About 35 feet. He buries it. And that's a cheer that everyone will hear. It's upset Ballesteros at 15. Now the Great White Shark 4 under with Faldo and Ballesteros. It's getting very tight at the top. This is Seve's third shot at the par 5 15th. He's played steady on the back nine, but he had a spectacular front nine of 31. And this one is going to be very short. He was visibly disturbed. There's no question about it. And Seve doesn't hide his emotions. You know exactly what he feels. But when that roar went up for that monster putt of Norman, it shook him. This to go 5 under. Oh, it just slides by. That for par on a hole he really should have birdied. However, there are still 3 to go. At the 17th, Faldo on in 2, but a long way from the hole. This for birdie. To tie for the lead. And he rams it in the back of the hole. Nick Faldo's putter has become a magic wand today. That's his 8th birdie of the day. He is 5 under in a 3-way tie now. Ballesteros, 16th tee, the par 3. He definitely needs a birdie here. Question is, can he regain his composure after that par 5 on a hole he should have birdied at 15? Oh, it's short. It's short, and it's in the lake. It's a disaster for Seve Ballesteros, who cannot believe what's happening to him. What a disappointment.
Once again, the Spaniard has come so near to fail at the final hurdle. At the 15th, another Masters dream is about to shatter as Mike Reed, like Ballesteros, finds water on his way to a catastrophic 7. More fuel to fire Norman's challenge.
Norman's second shot at 17, the 400-yard hole. His iron play has been just great this week. Oh, and another superb shot. 4 feet from the hole for birdie. Greg Norman now stalking his prey.
Back down the course, Scott Hoke has stretched his run of pars to 5, still 5 under. Crenshaw's hanging in 2, 3 under, ready to pounce. For the moment, it's Norman on center stage.
Yes, center stage with the spotlight squarely on him. He loves it. He thrives on it. And this to join Faldo and Hoke at 5 under. So his 7th birdie of the day. And once again, we have a 3-way tie for the lead. And we move ahead to the 18th and Nick Faldo. Par 4, 405 yards, his second shot. Very heavy rain now. Oh, he lashes right at it. Goes for cover. Now, if this ball pulls back, it could wind up in a very advantageous spot. That's about the most level putt you can get on this green, and he is going to be very pleased when he sees it as he trudges up to the 18th. And even though we have the somberness of umbrellas and rain, you certainly cannot overlook the drama that has unfolded here at Augusta this week. The travail of Lee Trevino, the rise and fall of Seve Ballesteros and Mike Reed. And now, for the moment at least, it boils down to 3 people. And this is one of them. For birdie to go 6 under, and the lead alone, and he misses it. Stays at 5 under, and he will have an agonizing wait in the clubhouse with this tap in. So it's 7 under for the day at 65 and 5 under for the tournament. Now back on the tee at 18, Greg Norman with an iron, which raises the question, is he playing safe here? The thing he's trying to avoid is that fairway bunker, and the wet sand that's in it, and he does avoid it, but he's pulled the shot a little bit to the left, but it is on safe ground. Quickly back to the 15th, Scott Hoch in the bunker. Third shot on the par 5. Oh, he hit a beautiful bunker shot there in that wet sand. Very tough shot. Remember, he is still 5 under, tied with Faldo, who's in the clubhouse, and Greg Norman, but he has a good chance for a 4 here on this par 5 to go into the lead. 5 steady pars in a row, and he'd like to break that string here. And he does. Scott Hoch goes 6 under into the lead by himself, ahead of Faldo and Norman. And what drama is unfolding here among the majestic pines of Augusta National. Now, Greg Norman, second shot at 18. He must birdie this hole to tie Hoch. 180 yards. Using a 5-iron. People saying, get up, get up. Is it short? Yes, a little bit. And rolls back down the hill. So that will be a bit of a problem for Greg Norman to chip it from there. He's not happy. Now to 16 and Ben Crenshaw's tee shot. 170 yards. He has a 5-iron. He's still 3 under. And he starts to walk and smile. He likes it. And that is about 8 feet from the hole at 16 for Crenshaw, who's still very much in it. Now Norman's chip at 18. Got to get this one close. Puts it in the hole, he ties Hoch. If he makes par, he ties Faldo. Oh, it's way short. Got that one too heavy. And he has a sizable putt for par. Well, Norman lost by a single shot in 86, lost in a playoff in 87. And out of it in 89. A bogey. Final round 67 puts him at 4 under, and another Masters eludes Greg Norman. The golfing gods are just not with him. Not for this tournament. Here's a man who's won it before. Going for number 2. Can Crenshaw get back in the picture in 89 for a birdie at 16? For 4 under. He's got it. He's very much in contention. 1 stroke behind Faldo, 2 behind Hoch with 2 to play.
Crenshaw then, back in the hunt. Not so Seve Ballesteros, but how the Spaniard has thrilled the gallery this week. A finishing birdie, but for the birthday boy, it's too little, too late. A 69, a 3 under par total of 285. The 2-time champion will return, though, that's for sure.
Crenshaw's second shot at 17. 4 wood. Ben mishit his tee shot because of a slippery grip. He sort of lost control of the club and hit it left. This one comes up, and he is safely on the green here at 17. And now Scott Hoch. Second shot, 17. Still 6 under.
That's it.
Running to see where it's going to go. And it is just over the green and into the spectators. It hit the downslope and picked up some momentum. Oh, this is going to be a very difficult shot for Scott Hoch. He doesn't have more than 15 or 16 feet of green to work with. Ben Crenshaw coming off a birdie in the previous hole at 16, trying for another one here. And now we look at the ball of Scott Hoch. One of the most testing shots of his entire career. Has to get it up to that green and then try to stop it. Oh, what a shot! Almost in the hole. Well, you simply have to say that this man has played some of the finest golf of his entire career here in the final round of the '89 Masters. As he watches Crenshaw. Ben could go 5 under. Big break. In the hole! You think he isn't pumped up? Second birdie in a row. And now he is 5 under, and Scott Hoch knows what he has to do. This for par. To stay 6 under. No! It misses. And suddenly, once again, we have joint leaders, Hoch, Crenshaw, and Faldo. Faldo in the clubhouse, Hoch and Crenshaw with 1 hole to play. And your heart has to go out to Scott Hoch. 18th tee. Ben Crenshaw, par 4, 405 yards. And he has a wood. Where Norman played safe, Ben's going for it. Oh, and he bends it beautifully right around the corner. Gorgeous tee shot. Now Scott Hoch on the tee at 18, also with a wood. And that ball is almost on the same trajectory and track as Crenshaw's, right out on the fairway, and it's going to wind up not more than 6 feet from Ben's ball. Most observers have said that this is the worst weather ever at the Masters, and I'll say this, the course has not succumbed to Mother Nature's whims this week. And now Crenshaw, second shot, 5-iron.
No.
Coming left.
No.
A little bit too far left. And it comes into the bunker. Oh, that is a tough place to play from here on the 18th. And now Scott Hoch, his second shot. It comes, it is, and stays on the putting surface. In better shape than Crenshaw's, certainly. And Crenshaw will come up and see what his situation is. Notice he was kind of thrashing his hands there as if they're wet. Club could have slipped and put him in this spot. You can see how deep it is. Third shot. Well, by normal circumstances, that would have been simply a great golf shot. But for Ben at this point, simply not close enough. And now, Scott Hoch. If he makes this, he wins. Oh, how close can it be? And so, with this tap in for a par 4, he finishes with a 69, 5 under, tied with Faldo. A certain playoff, either two-way or three, and it all depends on Crenshaw. Now, if Ben makes this, it'll be 5 under. You know, he almost hit that casually. That is not the usual way in which he addresses a putt. This is for a bogey. He's out of it. So he finishes with a round of 71, 4 under.
With Crenshaw's demise, it's sudden death. Faldo versus Hoch, head-to-head. The statistics suggest Faldo has been more adventurous this week, recording more birdies and bogeys. Hoch, it seems, has played a more defensive game. But at the first playoff hole, the 10th, they recorded pars every day.
Faldo's second on the long par 4, 485 yards. The scene of many dramatic moments here. That one catches the bunker just short and to the right. Golfer's right of the green. Might have gotten it just a little heavy. Now Scott Hoch. Second shot. That looks good. That looks fine. Coming right into the center and stopping. Definitely putting Scott Hoch in the driver's seat here on the first playoff hole. Faldo's ball sitting up nicely. Sand very wet. Oh, good shot. Not a great shot, but a good shot to put him in position to at least save his par. And now it comes down to Scott Hoch. What must be going through his head? An opportunity to win his first major championship on the green in 2. Well, if you can't get it in, just get it close. That would be for the par 4, and it puts the pressure here on Nick Faldo. Faldo has already swung 3 times. Realistically speaking, with Hoch that close, he knows he has to make it. Just slides off. Considerably past, too. So that's going to be for a bogey. So Nick Faldo bogeys the first playoff hole. All he can do now is stand aside and watch. Watch this man, Scott Hoch, with about a 2-foot putt to win the Masters of 1989. It's in his hands. Can you believe it? Scott Hoch can't. And now he's left himself even a longer putt to remain alive in the playoff. He does, but he'll remember that miss for the rest of his life.
Even so, at the next hole, the odds might be slightly in the Americans' favor, since Faldo bogeyed it every time this week. Hoch, only once.
The 11th, the first hole around Amen Corner. A par 4, 455 yards. Faldo in good shape. This will be his second shot, and of course you can see these are very dark and gloomy conditions. Starts it off a little bit to the right. You can see him squinting there in the gloom, trying to see the ball, and it comes up on the green, and he'll like what he sees when he gets there. Now Scott Hoch, his second shot. Is he shaken? Well, he might be. That ball is pushed off to the right. It's going way right. Oh, and down the slope. That's about where Larry Mize was 2 years ago when he sank that incredible 140-foot chip shot. Tension beginning to tell here now on both players. Scott knows he has to get this one close. Pretty good shot. But remember, that's 3 for him, and Faldo is on in 2. The ebb and flow of this playoff now returns to the hands of Nick Faldo. And if he makes this one, he wins. A 25-footer for the title. Yes! Faldo of England, the 1989 Masters champion.
This week, he beat the rain, the wind, Augusta National, and all the competition. For Faldo, inspired as a 13-year-old by Nicklaus's run in the '71 Masters, it's a dream come true. He proves again he has all the shots and the temperament to handle the pressures of a golfing major. From his near neighbor back home in Surrey, England, and in the presence of the chairman of Augusta National, Hord Hardin, the famed green jacket changes hands. Like Lyle and every champion at Augusta, Faldo's name etched forever in Masters lore.
I've seen other guys do that. You know, when you switch on TV, you watch somebody else do it. You watch Nicklaus roll it in to win and this sort of thing. And then for you to be standing and doing it, I couldn't believe it.